Chelsea have the ball. Chelsea dominate possession, but Chelsea still can't score. So today I want to talk honestly about Chelsea's attacking problems and what's going wrong, whether it's Maresca, the players, the system, and how it actually can be fixed, and what I think, what I believe should be done, in my opinion, that would fix our attacking problems. So I'll see you guys then. Hello and welcome to YASSERTV. Welcome back to the channel. This is a big topic. You know what I'm saying? Big topic. Our attacking problems at Chelsea. And before I start, make sure you're liking the video, subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. We're literally 90 subs away from 1K. So support your boy. You know what I'm saying? We're almost there. But let's actually get into the real topic now. The striker problem. Right? If you've been watching Chelsea recently, you already know the pattern, right? It's possession, loads of possession. We build up, we get close to the final third, and the attack just dies. So in some games, like the Leeds game, there was not even enough like build up going forward from the defense. And then we know how the manager likes to play already. He likes to invert the left back or have him going all the way forward. Do you know what I'm saying? To crowd the midfield. There's so many different things that the team does right now. So what I'll do is I'll separate it to like 3 parts. We'll talk about the players specifically up front. We'll talk about the system, and i.e. the manager, right? And also how I believe, or do I believe we need to do certain tweaks? Do we we'll cover all of that. And then obviously let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment in the comments, so you know we can have a little discussion if it needs to be, or if you have any video ideas or something that you want me to cover, let me know in the comments and I'll try to make a video on that as well. But going back to it, so obviously we spoke about you know, we have the issue now when it comes to the system. Let me get into the system first. For me, it's very reliant on the centre backs to break the lines. And then midfielders or someone else to get the ball on the half turn or start the attacks from there. The issue that we've been having in recent times is that the build-up is slow. It's just slow build-up, slow passing the ball. Now, it can help our fitness. It can help, you know, it's different to Portugal where it was high-intensity man-to-man pressing the whole time, so you're always knackered. But this is like, it's slow football. It's all about control and all these other aspects. But in certain games, specifically in a way where, you know, you play in a back 5 or you play against a back 5, or, you know, you're a bit crowded, you're in a lot of crowded areas, you need to move the ball quicker. And a lot of the times when we look good going forward, it's when we move the ball quicker. Everton game, I think it went from the goalkeeper to Gusto. Gusto made the run past it to Pedro Neto. Kept making the run and got the ball back in the box and he scored. Palmer, same thing, where I think he made the run, got the through ball, scored. Like, we have to make it more simple. I think the whole aspect of just trying to tap the ball in, like do what City used to do, I think in the Centurion season, whatever it was, when Sané was just crossing the ball into the box and Raheem Sterling was just tapping it in. Like, you can't always create those. There has to be the chances you create from open play and the chances the players create individually due to individual brilliance, goals that they get from individual brilliance, goals that the system allows them to get because of openings, overlaps, underlaps, link up play, like all these aspects. So for me, the main thing that we have to fix in our system is stop the slow build-ups. Slow build-ups, too many sideways and safe passes. And sometimes, a lot of the times when we do score goals, it's because we've taken that risk. You know, whether it was yesterday against Cardiff, Achampong making the run and then passing it, or doing something out of the ordinary when everyone just keeps expecting you to just pass it sideways to the free man or forward and back. Like, it's fine if you're trying to attract the opposition to press you and then you have a bit of space, but then you also have to take advantage of that. You have to take advantage of that. Another issue you have is obviously the main talking points that a lot of people have had about us is the striker issue, which I will also speak about, and the left winger issue specifically. Like, you could say sometimes it's a tactical issue because you look at Gittins in the first half. Yes, he had his own problems, and yes, he's not playing with confidence, and yes, he's not necessarily been great. But every time he got the ball, yes, partly because of him, there was that space on the left hand side where, you know, because he waited too long, he was a 2v1. But at the same time, he doesn't get that overlap. He's not getting the Hato overlap, or if it was in a different game, it'd be like a Cucurella overlap to drag one of them out and keep getting 1v1 with the winger. With the opposition's fullback. So he keeps facing 2v1s. Now, maybe our left back inverting is creating a different problem for the opposition, and it's helping us in that way. But specifically for our wingers, I think sometimes having the overlaps helps. I don't mind if we do have a mixture of it, where sometimes it's, you know, Cucurella or Hato is inverting and whatever, and sometimes he's going out wide, which also then be a little bit of a chaos, right? Because now the right back doesn't know if Cucurella's going to go invert or is he going to overlap. So those things are very important for us in our system. I think that's one of the main things that I think, even though a lot of us don't think that our left wingers are good enough or great or whatever, give them that extra help at least. Do you know what I'm saying? At least give them that extra help to make it easier for them, not more difficult. And then blame them for everything that's happening on that side. On the right-hand side, Neto, to be fair, his thing has always been that he goes forward, but then his issue's also been that he keeps cutting in instead of crossing the ball. In recent time, he has scored more and has created more. I think he's our top scorer with, I think, 5 goals in the Premier League and 3 assists. So he's currently on 8 GA for the GA merchants here. Second is João Pedro with 4, and Enzo Fernandez are both 4 goals. And I think Reece James has 3 assists, João Pedro has 3. And then if we talk about GA again, is João Pedro with 7, and Enzo Fernandez with 5. Now, we've kind of discussed a little bit when it comes to the issue in terms of how we play. And I think one of the main issues in that as well is the predictability. We're very predictable. You know what we're going to do. I know in the beginning of the season, we had Delap, you know, occupying the centre-backs, and it gave João Pedro a bit of freedom. And obviously this season's probably the first season of us playing without a Cole Palmer. Or getting used to not playing without Cole Palmer. So it's an aspect where, you know, the opposition, they sit deep. We just can't seem to sometimes unlock the door. Yes, we've scored a little bit more goals, especially in the beginning of the season from set pieces. You could say Arsenal, Fulham, West Ham, I think we did as well. Like, we have scored from set pieces, and that aspect of us has improved, and it looks like there's a plan. It looks like there's a way of us now going for set pieces. But it's one of those things like where you just need to do more. It's not just that. I think we just need to have more going forward, not necessarily from individuals, but it's more for me taking that initiative, taking that risks, you know, go forward, do something, you know what I mean, take that risk to do something. I think that's the real thing that I believe that we're missing. I don't know. I don't necessarily think it's because I think this attack should be performing better than it is right now. And I think bringing in Cole Palmer, it should perform better than that. And I think when you look at it from those like aspects, it's just one of those where it doesn't make sense. But yeah, like I said, the opponents sit deep, they crowd the middle of the park, which is why you see sometimes, obviously now we've been playing Gusto at right back and Reece James in midfield because of Caicedo's. Obviously he was suspended for 3 games because of the red card against Arsenal. That also brings a lot of us like people had to get kind of used to Reece James in midfield. They saw it in the Arsenal game. He was amazing, and yes, he can do certain aspects, and he is also so good on the ball. He can create. You already seen that he is second on our assist. He's the second best person to do the assists and all that in the league. So in our team currently. Why is the goals and assists not necessarily coming from our attackers? What do I mean by that? So what I mean by that is, why isn't the assists like covered up with our attackers? Yes, it's Pedro Neto, but then Reece James it's obviously a fullback, sometimes playing in midfield. João Pedro is one of the attackers, but if I keep going through it, it's Garnacho now who has 2, Cucurella who has 2, Jamie Gittins who has 2, Gusto who has 2, Enzo Fernandez who has 1, Estevao who has 1, Caicedo has an assist, and Margu has an assist. Now, you could say that that's all from attacks, but I think with the way we play, and I think when you really watch our games, you realize that, yes, we put the balls out wide. And one of the main things that I'm looking at from last season to this season is that we used to get the ball out wide, cross the ball into the box, but we never had a target. Right? Now we cross the ball into the box, but there's no one there, which is what was happening in the beginning of the season after the lap got injured, because João Pedro drops deep, links up, but he never gets in the box in time, right? Or he's not in the box when we cross the ball into the box, and I have to rely on a Cucurella at the back post, Gittins who might be at the edge of the box, or Garnacho who we never know where he is, and then whether Pedro Neto decides to lose the ball because he hasn't even crossed the ball yet. So there's so many aspects or things that are going wrong for us before we even talk about how many chances people are missing. We don't even have to get into the aspects of how many chances we've missed to start talking about where is it kind of going wrong. I think, like I said earlier, it's part of it is the build-up. I think the urgency. You know, sometimes I feel like we just so relaxed bopping the ball about. Like we believe like we'll have 50 chances coming later anyway. So, you know, they move the ball around. They think they got so many chances and stuff. Yeah, I have to sneeze there. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, for me personally, I said this many times before. I think we need to improve going forward, and it's not just the individuals. I don't think our individuals as are limited as some of them are. I believe one of them is limited, very limited. Do you know what I'm saying? And if you know who I who I'm talking about, then you know. But besides him, do you know what I'm saying, Mr. 49, I think everyone else has something to provide for us. You know what I mean? So it is a strange thing, in my opinion, like from that aspect. But then again, we like I said, we need to up our chance creation, because that's something for me that's been way worse for me than our goal scoring, if that makes sense. But now I'll get into it. Let's get into the attackers. Number 1, Liam Delap. I think Liam Delap, my expectations for Liam Delap were higher than most people, because I didn't just write him off from minute 1. And I'm not saying that I didn't write him off, so I'm just gonna stick with him because I think there's something there, or because I believed in him now, I need to stick to that. I'm not one of those that does the wrong and strong thing. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not one of those. But he hasn't yet scored the Premier League goal. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing that he needs to fix. Yes, he got his first Champions League goal against Barcelona. Composure, good finish. I know it's kind of tapping, but we used to seeing Jackson miss that. We didn't even know. Like, we used to gamble it. When it was Jackson, he was like, we don't know if it's like, you wait until it goes into the back of the net, VAR check, not offside, everything, and then you celebrate. Do you know what I mean? That's the bit that people forget about. Now, I feel like our system does kind of, we still play it like we have a false 9. That's how it feels like. And I feel like when we link up play and everything seems to be well, I think it's just one of those where we don't always look for the striker. And I feel like everyone's trying to go greedy. You know what I mean? The wing is trying to go greedy. This guy's trying to go shoot from there instead of crossing it when we have a striker in the box. And it's like, you know, these things need to be fixed. Because if I go into, let's get into the Liam Delap conversation here. For me, I think he was all right to good in the what? He wasn't good in Crystal Palace. He was good against West Ham. He was good against Fulham, or he was all right against Fulham until he got injured. And I think we knew what his role was. The one thing we learned was that we could play João Pedro and Delap in the first in the game together, which we didn't know at the Club World Cup because the manager would play one or either or. I think then we realized that he obviously got the injury when we started playing João Pedro up front, and I think that's when I realized exactly what he was doing for us, because I just started to notice that João Pedro was able to drift to the left, to the right, in the 10 space, and overload one of the sides, whether it's on the left hand side or right hand side, to link up and then kind of do that. And then he was also getting the goals. After that, when he started to become the striker on his own, so it was almost like we were sacrificing the striker to help us do something and allow someone else to play better. Now, when he got injured and we started seeing João Pedro up front, I think he still scored. He scored in the Fulham game, and then after that, it started to just dwindle, and he wasn't really scoring like that. And I don't even remember what other games he scored at. But if I really start to think about it, what I started noticing is that we started to move the ball out wide, and then when we cross the ball in, or João Pedro holds onto the ball for too long, so he doesn't just pass and move, or he doesn't hold on to it and then just move, has a 1-2 with someone, or one, turn, get the ball over the top through, but like he likes to hold it and then dribble past 3 people, then pass it. By that time, if he gets tackled, he loses the ball, we get attacked again. So that's the aspect that I need from him to fix up, because if I remember Firmino at Liverpool, for example, he did play like a false 9. He knew when to hold on to the ball and do the little skills thing, and also knew when to release it quickly to Salah or Mane. I think that's what keeps your attack going or breaks down your attack. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think that's one aspect to it. So now we've spoken about that. Delap comes back from injury. He doesn't look sharp at all, and he reminds me of Colwell when he was playing last season, and it was like he's so frustrated due to the way he's playing, knowing that he's not playing well and that he's too focused on fighting. I think that aspect for me, and I think we didn't see the real Colwell to the latter part of the season, because he was more focused on defending and defending well than actually fighting people. He was more involved into the he wasn't losing his head as much as he was before. Yeah, he wasn't losing his head as he was before. He became a better defender. We relied on him a bit more. He didn't have the little head loss moments. And with the lap, I feel like he started to just focus more on the wrestling than he does the football. And I think even if you look at his time at Ipswich and that, he wasn't that kind of player. Yeah, was he having that physical? Was he physical? Yeah, he was physical. But like seeing him just, he's too busy fighting than looking at the ball. And I think, yes, it's a mixture of him not doing that, and also I think forcing everything in terms of he wants to get his first goal for Chelsea in the Premier League. He wants to do this and then he starts to force the shot, force this, force that. So I feel like in some games he has been greedy instead of passing it when he should have been passing it. Now, all these things have to be improved. All these things have to be improved, in my opinion. Moving on from that, so Delap plays against Wolves in the league. Well, he gets sent off against Wolves in the League Cup, so he doesn't get that. He doesn't get the whole build on the sharpness thing. Plays against Wolves. His cameo against Karabakh wasn't bad, but he didn't score and he had a shot. Besides that, You move on now to the Wolves game in the league. He's surrounded by 5 defenders. I think I'm the lowest of low blocks, defending. By the time he got taken off, they started kind of going forward, and that's when João Pedro scored, Garnacho scored, and everyone else. So yeah, like I said, there has to be improvements made. João Pedro, I've already spoken about him as well. He needs to improve. Like, I think he has been dipping and missing in games and not making the right decisions, or not shooting when he should be shooting, and he still wants to dribble and pass it to someone else. Like, that's all decision making. So that's all decision making, in my opinion, right? So move to the left wingers now. Now, left wingers, Garnacho, yes, he's getting GA. Yes, he's getting GA here and there. But we can count now so many performances that he had, like the Everton ones, where he'll get in a good position, but instead of shooting at the bottom corner, he scoops it. Well, I mean, he's actually trying to shoot, but he ends up scooping it. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you do that? Missing easy sittings and stuff like that. I think you also have to look at the player's playing style, and then also look at how he plays and what he does, and also, like, is this the game to put him on or not? That's also a thing that where the manager needs to look at it from, right? You look at the aspects of a Gittins. He's more a ball to feet. He dribbles past you. He can go in. He has, good technical ability. He's low on confidence. He just seems to be going either simple, or he tries to pass it but then overhits it, underhits it. Not always in the right places, but then he'll score the goal like he did against Wolves in the Carabao Cup. So I think he's the more talented, the player with the higher ceiling, the player who technically is better than Garnacho right now. I just don't fit. The difference is that Garnacho is trash, but he's overconfident or confident. I think Gittins is the better player, but his confidence seems to be shot. Now, should more game time and all that work? That should, but that's also another aspects of it. Now, so like I said, that's the players that we're talking about in that aspect. I think the right wingers, Neto's been so good off the ball, but he needs to improve on the ball. But then again, he's our top scorer. And then you have Esteban, who a lot of people have been saying, why is he not playing? He's not consistent. Let the manager bed him in. I don't have issues with that. As soon as he started playing too many games back to back, he's not been playing that great or well. But at the same time, you start looking at, obviously, I think I heard the news of him I think he's injured now. He has a little muscle problem. So, like I said, there's no point rushing him into all the games. There's no point. So that's what I was talking about in that regard. Yeah, our midfield's very important. Our midfield needs to progress that ball forward consistently. It's not always just passing it between each other and passing it back. We have more back passes than forward passes sometimes. Like, I don't really believe, I don't like what I'm seeing sometimes in that aspect. And now we'll get into the manager. Yes, like I said, the manager does have some blame in this. He needs to fix it. He needs to make those adjustments when he sees that certain aspects are changing in the game. And that's what we used to praise him for, his in-game management. And then, like I said, in this game, do you need an overlap more than an underlap? Do you need an overlap more than you need a left back to invert? Do you need Gusto to invert or bomb down and help Neto to drag out that defender? Making the changes at the right time, having the right combinations in midfield, playing the right player up front. And whether that means consistently playing a player because you need him to get back on form, or only play the players that are in form. He needs to figure those aspects out, in my opinion. And yeah, he also needs to especially make that sub early if you need it. I think in-game management, again, substitution, again, you know what I mean? Those are the aspects that we're talking about. So yeah, if you like the video, make sure you like the video. And I've already covered all the bases by now. Move the ball quicker. You know what I'm saying? Play forward. And obviously now everyone's looking at me thinking, but he didn't mention CP. Cole Palmer. Look, we've already seen what he can do. We know what he can do. A player that looks for the place, that he always seems to be making right decisions. He has that ability to make that kind of pass. Newcastle last season, and a very unpredictable player. Doesn't mind dinking it over the top, through ball, through the legs, out wide. Like, he could even go for himself and have a shot. But like I said, we have not been creating enough chances for the players up front in terms of a Delap or someone else to say that they're finished. That's my opinion, innit? I feel like, yes, we could start moaning about some of the other things that he doesn't do well, or João Pedro doesn't do well. But how many chances, pardon me, how many chances are we in the midfield, the wingers, creating for those players to miss? Essentially, in certain games, they would create 2 chances for the lap, right? And it could be at the edge of the box or something like that. Well, he should have scored that one. He should have scored that one. And I don't think it should be like that. Jackson used to get 4 or 5 chances, scored 2, and it was like, cool. Where is this 4 or 5 chances to score? You can't expect people to have a 50%, 60, 70% goal scoring ratio in a game all the time. Especially where the chances are. Is it a big chance? Is it a small? Like, where is it on the pitch? You can't just say he should have scored that one because that was his one chance. With Garnacho, some of our complaints has always been that he misses the big chances. And to be fair, I'm pretty sure he is on the list of big chances missed. He has 5. So me saying that I want him is not an agenda. I'm just saying I've seen him miss some very big chances. So those are the aspects we need to fix. Now, would the personnel change on certain places on the pitch help us? Yes, but to a certain extent. Because you could put any player in there. If he's not getting the service, that won't fix anything. Make sure you're liking the video. We got to the end of this. Make sure you're liking the video. Subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts about our attack in the comments below. And it's not a section to hate on the players. Just let me know what you think footballing wise need to change. You know what I'm saying? I get it. Some people love players, hate players and whatever. But I want to know things from either a tactical standpoint, footballing standpoint, that kind of stuff. Have a discussion in the chat. Let me in the comments. Let me know what you think. Like I said, I'll read all of them. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. And see you guys in the next one. Peace.